Hello, this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. And as we approach 2025, we have had some disappointments in 2024. But to me, the horizon is bright, and I believe that Black Americans are learning now how to play the game in America, trying to get past the idea that people will call us victims, and trying to play the winning game for ourselves. And it's okay to start small. We don't have to do this big, gigantic thing every day. One of the things that I'm really proud of is to see the NFL players, retired or former NFL players, being hired as head coaches at HBCU schools. I think that's a very important step forward because those guys have played in the NFL, they've made a lot of money, but they're still young men when they retire. And I just don't think, the idea that you got to keep going to the white man to give you a job on ESPN or a job somewhere where if they get mad at you one day, they can fire you, or you end up being embarrassed, or you go somewhere to a party and you say the wrong thing to some white woman and now you're embarrassed and fired. I believe that it's a sign of maturity that some of these guys have decided that I can go to an HBCU and make a decent salary and make a real contribution to my community. We talk about we need to build, we need to build. Well, our foreparents came out of slavery and built these HBCUs. Some of these things were built before slavery ended. I went to Alabama State. Alabama State was founded in 1867, 2 years after slavery ended. So they've been around for a long time, and they have produced some of the most successful Black Americans in this country. But the self-hatred and the indoctrination that we get against ourselves make us think that if we're not at a white college, or if we're not doing something with white people, then what we're doing is not important or it's not significant. So I think it is very important that this young crop of former NFL football players are going to HBCUs and helping to build those programs. Deion Sanders went to Jackson State and was a resounding success. And even though he moved on to a PWI, Ed George is at Tennessee State. Deshaun Jackson is at Delaware State. Now Michael Vick has gone to Norfolk State. And two or three others are now head coaching at HBCU schools. And it's only going to help those programs. I think it's important for us to stop looking over each other, looking for some other community to sustain us. And this is not a knock on PWIs, because some Black coaches go to PWIs and do well. But I'm just saying that they retire from football or basketball, and the next thing you know, they're sitting up on ESPN talking, and when they run out of anything meaningful to say, they'll say something out of order about Black people or Black leaders or something that, off the wall, that shows that they're not very intelligent. So I think that this is a very good use of their time. So this is, to me, Black Americans learning how to play the game, building up our own communities and our own youth and our own institutions. Because if we don't do it, nobody else is going to do it. And control is the name of the game. The people who have the most control over their careers, over their personal lives, over their business lives, have the best outcomes in America. And your chances of going to an HBCU and becoming successful are much greater than you becoming successful in some white institution, because there's always somebody that wants the job that you have. So when they get tired of you, they get ready to replace you. They've got some kind of file on you that they can pull out, and then there you are, headline news, doing something embarrassing, and you're gone, and you've gone out in disgrace. So I still think you have a better chance of having a successful outcome with your own people. That, to me, is learning how to play the game. And we've been at this game long enough now to know how to play it. The second sign of growth that I see is with these black mayors in these large cities, these large sanctuary cities. They have allowed all of these illegal immigrants to come into the cities and to some extent taking resources that should go to the citizens of those cities. And they seemed helpless to do anything about it, asking for help from Washington and getting no help. But now that Donald Trump has been elected, both the mayor of Washington, D.C., Muriel Bowser, and New York City Mayor Eric Adams are saying that they are going to work with the Trump administration to do something about illegal immigration. Now, I don't know about Muriel Bowser in Washington, D.C., but I believe that Eric Adams' ship may have already sailed. He may be too far gone to be able to recover any kind of career he has as mayor of New York. I could be wrong, but I believe that the people of New York are totally dissatisfied with the way he handled that migrant crisis. And when I say they're learning how to play the game, they are learning that Donald Trump is the president of the United States. He will be calling the shots come January 20th, I guess. And if they want something done about that illegal immigrant crisis in their cities, they are going to have to work with that administration. This whole idea about I'm going to protect the immigrants and this is a sanctuary city and I'm going to uphold the laws. And I do believe that's what Eric Adams is saying. But he's also saying he wants to work with the Trump administration to do something about it. And I think they are both clever enough to understand that the reason the Democrats did so poorly in the last election is that they didn't say anything about immigration. The black people in the city, their own people who helped or either got them elected, were furious about the influx of those migrants. And they didn't do anything. They seemed helpless to do anything about it. And so when the election passed, they were running around talking about they were going to win, they were going to win, they were going to win, and they lost. Now, I don't know who cheated because I wasn't counting the votes. I just know who's the president now and who most likely will be sworn in. And as much as we feel that that's not the best candidate at this time, they didn't have a best candidate. They just didn't. But he's going to run the show now for the foreseeable future. I put it that way. And anybody who wants to do something about the crises in their city is going to have to work with the administration. So I think it's a sign of growth and maturity that these black mayors in these big sanctuary cities are saying, I'm going to get some help for the citizens in my community, even if I have to work with the president whose political views I don't share. That is a sign of maturity because when you go into public life to serve the people, it's not about what you like personally. That's how come a lot of people don't run for office. But you still have to obey the law. You have to uphold the law. But most importantly, you have to do what's best for the citizens in your city, in your state, in your country. So I believe that it's a good sign that these mayors have said, I'm going to do what I can to help the citizens of my city. Okay, so, and I'm hoping that we're going to see more signs of black Americans learning how to play this game in America because running around here being mad because Donald Trump won or being mad about the Supreme Court, it doesn't accomplish anything. You have to match your anger with some kind of action. Now, that's what I think, but let me know what you think. Thank you for listening. Subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, give me a thumbs up, and have a good evening.